What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, shout out to the brother Kevin Ramos for the $10 donation via the Cash App. Salute to him. He's a fan of fantasy boxing matchups. And in this particular video, he has a matchup that requested me to do a video about a matchup that, I'd be honest with you, I've never really thought about. And I really struggled to kind of even take a guess at this one. Maybe Mr. Max need to do this one because I'm kind of honestly I can't really decide. So the matchup is between Terrence Bud Crawford and the Hulk, Aaron Pryor. Terrence Bud Crawford, of course, is going to fight Canelo Alvarez next month. I think it's September 13th. And Aaron Pryor, of course, his best years in boxing was the 1980s. Bud Crawford has a career record of 41-0 with 31 knockouts. And Aaron Pryor's career record was 39-1 with 35 knockouts. Bud Crawford is the bigger fighter. He's 5'8", and in this scenario, he is fighting at 140. Aaron Pryor is 5'6", fighting at 140. Bud has a 74-inch reach, and Bud has a 74-inch reach, and Pryor has a 69-inch reach. Now, I guess just out of common sense, the closest thing I could think of as far as a comparison to a guy that Bud fought to Pryor was Shawn Porter Jr. He's another aggressive swarmer type fighter. Bud beat him. I think he knocked him down twice late in the fight, 10th round or something like that. But Shawn Porter was having some success against Bud earlier on, and I think most of us would agree that Aaron Pryor is a far more dynamic fighter than, or at least a more dynamic fighter than Shawn Porter Jr. Aaron Pryor, of course, is a guy that was a relentless energy bunny type fighter, swarmer, classic swarmer, threw punches at different angles, was very awkward to fight. And while Bud is a master boxer, I wonder if he would be able to, for 12 rounds, I'm sometimes wondering when I'm thinking about it if he's going to be able to totally withstand Aaron Pryor's onslaught. Pryor's the type of guy that methodically would break opponents down. Now, I do think though that Pryor's punching power would be a little bit reduced. I think he was at his most dangerous at 135, at 140. I mean, I still think he had power at 140, but Bud is the bigger man by nature, though Pryor's the bigger puncher. But even though Pryor's the bigger puncher, Bud being naturally bigger still be able to withstand more of that power. And another thing, obviously, you got to look into this fight is that when I think about it, Aaron Pryor didn't have the greatest defense. He had a very, very good chin, but he didn't have the greatest defense. And at times he could be caught. And at times he has gotten knocked down a couple times in his career. And we know Bud is a master counterpuncher. So that's something you got to think about too. There's always that possibility that Bud could catch this guy and totally change the complexion of the fight. So, man, I've been thinking about this video request for the last 2 days. And I think what I'm going to do is say a couple of things. I think this would be a fight of the year type candidate fight. You know what I'm saying? As far as potential is concerned, I think a lot of people also, before I go forward, because I know there's going to be a lot of recency bias in the comment section. I think a lot of people will forget or don't know how great Aaron Pryor was. Yeah, I know about the bottle and all of that shit, man. But man, at the end of the day, uh, he whooped Alexis Arguello twice. Okay, and motherfucker damn near went undefeated his entire career, and it's the reason why Sugar Ray Leonard ducked him. It's the reason why all those guys ducked him. They didn't want to fight this man. You know, so the only thing that I think screwed him up was his addiction to drugs, which caused him to fade as a fighter as the 80s progressed. So he never was able to truly reach his potential. But I think this would be a very explosive fight. I think it'd be, if I had to take a guess at it, I think that earlier on, Aaron Pryor would be dominating the tempo of the fight. He'd be the aggressor, obviously. The question is, how effective would his onslaught, how effective would his attack or assault be on Bud Crawford? Is Bud able to make adjustments as he have done time and time again and turn the tables and figure out Aaron Pryor as Bud has done many, many times, and afterwards making a clinic oftentimes in his favor? I tend to think that a guy as dynamic as Aaron Pryor can't quite be figured out like that, but I do think that Bud would make necessary adjustments and score convincingly. I could see a situation where Bud Crawford is banking some rounds at the end. The question is, would it be enough to offset the earlier Pryor assault? So I'm going to say something and come up with a ending or prediction that I don't normally do, and that is, I think this thing ends in a draw. I'm gonna say it's a draw. One judge gonna have eked out. One judge gonna have it barely for Aaron Pryor, another judge barely for Bud Crawford, and another judge is gonna have it as a draw. So, you know, that's what I'm just gonna go with. I'm gonna go with that. It's gonna be a draw, and we're gonna see these guys fight again. And then I don't know what's gonna happen in the second one. But that's my guess right there. If this is the young Aaron Pryor, this is going to be a war. Now, if this is Aaron Pryor like 1987, 88, then Bud Crawford wins. I'll put it like that. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.